Welcome back to Summon Tesla. Obviously, I am a Tesla channel, and well, you might think I'm biased. I'm not. Ultimately, there are very big reasons why I like Teslas, but I want to answer some of the questions I get in regards to, well, people trying to get their information regarding electric cars. EVs are incredible things to consider as your next vehicle, but there's a lot of information that a lot of you are looking forward to trying to get. So I'm going to answer a bunch of questions today about EVs and everything I can. So today is basically a Q&A. All right, let's get the intro started. Okay, so today we are definitely going to have a ton of fun with talking a little bit about EVs and, well, answering some of the questions for those people who are thinking about getting EVs. Obviously, like I said in the beginning of this channel, beginning of this video, I should say, EVs in general, they all have their good and bad sides. Now, I am not, just because I own a Tesla, I'm not necessarily going to be talking strictly about Tesla. I'm going to talk about EVs in general. I obviously have a Tesla because I believe that they are currently a massive industry leaders, but it doesn't mean that they are the only option for people. So yeah, there's that. If you're looking at getting an EV, some of the things for you to consider and some of the questions I get are probably going to be in this Q&A. So let me know if you have any other questions in the comments below, and then I'll try and do a follow-up video and talk about it, or I'll just answer it in the comment section below. Question number one is Tesla my only option? The answer is no. You have a ton of options out there, and if you look at something like the Nissan Leaf, for example, it may be another great option for you. And for example, the BMW i3, again, might be a great option for you. And for me, the only part of the problem that I have with other EV manufacturers compared to Tesla is the charging network. Now, Tesla by far is a much, you have the Tesla superchargers. You pretty much can go anywhere you want with a Tesla. I haven't found really many limitations on anywhere I wanted to go, and we love taking road trips. But when you're talking about, other companies, I guess, other manufacturers, by far there are quite a few options out there for a lot of people. Teslas are not the only EVs. So that leads me to question number two, and it's what car I would recommend for local driving, and they put in brackets urban driving. So if you are in a city, and if you're thinking about buying an EV, something for the city, my previous statements, the Nissan Leaf, obviously one great option. Hyundai Kona is another great option, and then you have the BMW i3. Now, BMW i3 is a car that is highly recommended by a lot of people who I've talked to who own this car. And I think for a lot of people who are driving just around the city, where their range is enough to get them from here to there around the city in the urban area, I absolutely recommend it. Despite the fact that they might still be priced pretty high, you have to remember that you don't have that much maintenance on these vehicles. And so it really levels out more or less after a few years. I think this is kind of one of those things that it's all of these are personal choices you yourself have to make ultimately. Range. Everybody wants to know about range and range anxiety. Yes, there's a lot of cars out there where you will get range anxiety. And frankly, I don't care what you're getting. At the very beginning of when you get a electric vehicle from day one, and you've never you don't have any experience with electric vehicles, range anxiety is going to be a thing, even with Teslas. Okay, so it takes you a little bit of time until you understand how much your range gets you, how far it gets you, and it gets you until you get to a point where you're comfortable with knowing, without even thinking, you look at your dash and you say, hey, I have 60% battery. You know how far that's going to get you. So is range anxiety a thing? The answer is yes. Range anxiety is absolutely a thing, and it has everything to do with the fact that you hear a lot about it, and you're not sure how that's going to be affected overall. You're not used to it. That's really all it is. I recommend, once again, talking to people in regards to how that works, how other people find the range. So you can join a lot of forums. There's a ton of forums out there, really good ones who are willing to talk to everybody. You can ask us questions in the comment section below. And obviously keep in mind that range is based severely on the type of car you're buying. Currently, for example, Tesla's Model S can do well over 400 miles, right? So around 650 kilometers. That's on a single charge. Now, keep in mind that a lot of the range information you're seeing with these vehicles, they are based on pretty much ideal conditions. What I would do is I would take about 30% off the top, and just to give yourself a lot of room. So 30%, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is quite a bit. And for some people might say it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It really depends severely on you and what type of car you're getting. If you take any electric vehicle, I would always say take 30% off the top. Next question has to do with so many EVs on the market, are there EV motorcycles? The answer is yes. So actually we have another channel. It's called KawaKouple. I can link it in the description below. And my wife actually rides a all-electric motorcycle. And the range on that motorcycle, for example, on a most basic version of it is around 120 kilometers. And that's amazing. It really is. But it's only got like a 7.2 kilowatt hour battery compared to, let's say, my car, which is a 100 kilowatt hour battery. And so, yeah, there's definitely differences. So the answer is yes, there are EV motorcycles out there. And we happen to own, obviously, a Tesla, and my wife happens to own a all-electric motorcycle. Wonderful, wonderful amount of fun. That bike is just ridiculously crazy. The next question here is, will Tesla ever make a smaller EV? Good question. A smaller EV, I think I know what they're referring to. My wife, for example, is looking at getting she's hoping that Tesla will make like something like an urban. So I guess kind of like a smaller version of a Model 3, even smaller than a Model 3, something that's just made for going around the city. And my wife was telling me that if Tesla ever makes that, she wants it. So I already know that if Tesla ever makes that, I'm a customer. And so it's really interesting to see that people do look for the smaller cars, the more compact little cars that you can run around the city. And obviously there's a market for that in an overall picture. I didn't initially think about it, but once my wife mentioned it and a few other people mentioned it, and now this question, yeah, there's definitely a market for it. I'm sure that it's going to happen. Tesla, I know, announced this, but like I said, there are already cars technically out there that will do this. Next question. Should I get an all-electric EV? All-electric EV. Basically, should I get an EV or get a hybrid? Which one's better? Okay, so the answer to this is very simple. Very weirdly placed question, but should you get a hybrid or an all-electric vehicle? That's basically the question. And in this case, it's pretty straightforward. For a lot of people, they feel more comfortable getting a hybrid vehicle. And the reason for that is because they feel like it's nice to have that backup of an engine. I can understand this. There's hesitation about going all out into a electric vehicle. There's a lot of people that hesitate, but I kind of find it to be a scenario where you kind of get a lot and nothing at the same time. So you don't really get a good engine because all of these hybrids pretty much have like this little, I call them lawnmower engines. So you're not really getting an engine, but at the same time, you're not really getting a full battery pack either. You're getting kind of like a miniature battery pack. So you're really getting nothing on the engine side and nothing on the battery side. And this half thing doesn't really work because they're two very different things. So I'm not a big fan of hybrids. I can see where they can be useful, but I'm not a big fan of hybrids. I think hybrids are good at times, but it's definitely not something I would ever buy. All right, we should wrap this up shortly. So just a couple more questions. EV maintenance. Is it true that EV maintenance is much less than your regular engine powered car? The answer is absolutely. Obviously, with any ICE car, you have ICE car, like internal combustion car, also known as ICE. Obviously, you have thousands and thousands of moving parts, right? And basically, you're talking about having a big canister of, quite big canister of fuel, which is causing explosions inside of an engine, right? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that could go wrong at any given time. And the worst thing about internal combustion engines is that it's always a chain reaction. When one thing goes wrong, usually it leads down the rabbit hole. It usually just kind of keeps going. With that said, EVs are not perfect either. Even with EVs, there's a lot less moving parts, but the technology is still fairly new. So you can't just take it to your local mechanic. Your local mechanic will not know much about it. Hence, you do need somebody who specializes with EVs. And that's, I think, if something goes wrong, that's where you have to kind of think about that as well. You can't just take it anywhere. Now, obviously, with Teslas, you can take it back to Tesla. With Honda, you can take it back to Hyundai. They would have their own specialists, but it's not like you can take it to your local car guy and have it fixed. All right, let's do a last question. Let's pick one. What gas-powered car would you be willing to give up your Tesla for? None. Okay, I am not exaggerating when I'm saying this. I've had this question asked last year. That was about a year into my ownership of my Tesla Model S, and the answer is none. There is not a single internal combustion engine car out there that somebody could entice me with to give up my Tesla. And I think that's a testament to the EV market more than just Tesla. I spent all my life driving internal combustion engines, and I've driven some amazing cars in my life, some of the top cars that for many people it's just a dream to drive. And after I got myself the Tesla, I realized how amazingly simple something can be, and at the same time just be complicated beyond reason. Most people don't believe me when I say this, but trust me, I have no, the worst that my car was is the day I bought it. That was literally the day that car was just the car. Since then, it's continuously improved. Now, I am talking here about Tesla specifically. With other EVs, I don't know if that's necessarily true. There's a lot of problems I know that came out of Nissan, for example. Their batteries were subpar, I guess. There's a lot of problems with auto manufacturers right now trying to make EVs, I should say, and they're all trying to chase Tesla. In this question alone, my answer is specifying Tesla. I would not give up my Tesla for any car out there. If you were to come to me today with McLaren, let's go with a P1, for example, for that matter, any car you want, give me a Rolls Royce, I wouldn't trade it up. And I'm being 100% honest. You guys can try it if you so choose to, but I would never give it up. I see the amount of benefits over the past 2 years by having an EV. EVs are actually incredible. And in this case, like I said, I'm referring more towards my Tesla, because that's what the question is asking. I'd never give it up. It would take something crazy in my life to give up this car. I think the bottom line is, for all of you out there who are thinking about, should you get an EV? The answer is you should. What you're gonna start out with, that's not my problem. That's yours. You have to figure out what works best for you. If you do want a Tesla, you're more than welcome to use my referral code. I would love that. It's always linked in the description below. And if you have any questions about Teslas, please don't hesitate. Just ask. Ask in the comment section. I always answer the comment section questions. And I think ultimately for you, depending on what you decide to get, I think you still have to do your research. You still have to figure out what's going to fit your lifestyle. But I'm going to end this video on a very important note. If any of you out there are thinking about buying a electric vehicle, and keep in mind that electric vehicles are a fun thing to drive. So a lot of people, they make a mistake in buying a low range vehicle, not realizing that all that fun that they're gonna be having with the car is also gonna be affecting the range, which also means that you're gonna run out of range, and it's just gonna take away from that fun. This is something I tell a lot of Tesla owners: do not buy the short range unless you're driving strictly in the city, a lot of it. With that said, you can obviously drive outside the cities. You can drive across, states, provinces, countries. It's just you're gonna be spending a lot more time at charging stations. But I recommend to everybody, get the longer range, the longest range you can get. Spend that extra money on getting the longest range you can get, because when you have a great deal of range at your fingertips, you're gonna really enjoy that vehicle. And on top of that, it's really important to understand that even though today you might only be driving 100 kilometers per day, once you get an EV, trust me, you're gonna be, well, let me rephrase this. If you ever get a Tesla, for sure, you're definitely gonna be driving more than what you're used to, because it's just a pleasure to be driving now. It's no longer a chore. With that said, what can I say? Have fun hunting for your next electric vehicle. Have fun doing your research. And when you do finally get it, please summontesla@gmail.com. Send me a photo. Tell me why you got that particular vehicle, and I'd love to know. And if you already have a EV right now, by all means, please tell me about it. Again, summontesla@gmail.com, or in the comment section below. Let me know what made you buy an EV, and what is it about an EV that really compelled you to spend the money on. All right, that's it. Have yourselves a nice day. Everybody drive safe, stay safe. Goodbye till next time.